Welcome to the All Leaving podcast. We don't even know what the hell this show is called yet, but who cares? It is the wrestling show to be named later. My name is Barry Grant Jr. This is my co-host here, Josh Tariff, the good Tariff, not the one that people don't really understand. Like this is the one that, like, you see him. It's an open book. He's the man. What's up, my guy? How you doing?
What's up? Hey, good to be here. Yes, I am the Tariff that you're happy to give money to. I will say I do welcome it, and it all goes to a good cause. It goes to paying the bills.
Listen, we're definitely going to put that PayPal and the cash, all that stuff there. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, absolutely. But no, excited to be here with you, Barry. Excited to start chatting some wrestling, because I know when you and I first got connected, this was the whole jump off. It's just like, oh, a wrestling guy. I want to do a wrestling show. I want to do, like, we can do this together. And so yeah, excited to hang out with you and chat about it. You know, from my side of things, I of course reside on the West Coast. You're on the other side of the planet.
Yes.
But one thing that goes all around the world is wrestling.
Absolutely.
Literally, because they are currently still on the other side of the planet.
100%.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Before we even get really started, give your background in regards to your experience in the wrestling business.
For sure. So as far as fandom, I have watched wrestling my entire life. My earliest childhood memories from age 3 and 4, going to my grandparents' house every Saturday and watch wrestling with my grandfather. Let me put it this way: the first wrestler that I can remember was Dino Bravo. And I hated Dino Bravo. I thought he was mean, and I wanted everyone to beat him up.
Yeah.
And then my dad took me to my first live show when I was 7 years old. And I don't know if you can see it behind me up there at the top. That is Bret Hart's shades with, you know what? I'm going to just grab it to give it a closer look. What? Hey, look from afar.
What do you think?
Yeah. So let me grab this right here so you can see the shades moved around this. So that is it. The shades are currently blocking 7-year-old Josh's smile once my dad took the photo of the shades being put on me right then by Bret.
That's cool.
Those are shades. And then that was the card of the show that day. That was in our program. So Those were the matches I got to see. And that's what made me hooked on wrestling. And for 20 years now in California, I have worked in various independent wrestling promotions. I've been a commentator, I've been a referee, I've been a ring announcer, I've been a booker, been a writer, been a promoter. And lately, for the last several years, I've been a manager. Also teach promo classes and things of that nature. And so I've pretty much done all the things except wrestle on a regular basis, because my body can't do it.
Did you try to wrestle at one point?
I have tried. I have some training in it, but there are just things that my body just cannot do on a regular basis. Like,
listen, some
men and women can do.
Some people can't take the bumps, man. Like that, those bumps are real. It's real stuff.
Yeah, at 100%. So thankfully, while I was given a fragile body, I was gifted an obnoxious loud voice, and that's what's helped me make my own type of career in independent wrestling. And I have a blast doing it. I actually have back-to-back shows this weekend. I got I'll be in a show in San Diego on Saturday and one in Burbank, California on Sunday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that is my wrestling background and fandom in a nutshell. Barry, all these people know you because this is your channel.
Yes, sir.
So fill them in on how you got into wrestling, because you're a big sports nut like me, but yet we still have the wrestling connection.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been watching wrestling for as long as I can remember. You know, I'm 40 years old. I've been watching wrestling since I was in diapers. Like, I guess I fell in love with just the pomp and circumstance of it, right? Like it was the theatrics of it, the characters, the gimmicks. For my favorite wrestler back in the day was Macho Man growing up, right? And then, you know, all of us had that little Ultimate Warrior phase, and then the Ric Flair phase, and then, you know, I was a huge fan of Waylon Mercy for a short period of time of where he was there. I mean, he was there and then he was gone. But Waylon Mercy was
that was part of the origins of what became Bray Wyatt.
Exactly. So, you know, all of those gimmicks, man, just the, you know, I call wrestling the male soap opera for us. Like, you know, it makes us be able to say, listen, you know, my wife watches novellas. I don't want to watch that. I got my own. You know what I'm saying? I got the one that's cool, like not that one that people will make fun of you for. Nah, this is fine. But, you know, just wrestling, man. You know, my first show that I ever went to was SummerSlam 1998, Highway to Hell. Like that was my first introduction.
Austin
Undertaker, right? And that was everything for me, man. Like I didn't realize I was gonna go to the show. My cousin, you know, surprised me with tickets, and it was on after that. You know what I mean? So it's just I've never had a break from wrestling since I've been a fan. Like, you know how some people they grow out of it, they age out of it and all this stuff. I never aged out of it because it was always something that you can appreciate the craft, you can appreciate the artistry in it, everything about it. And you know, so you know, we're here at 40, still breaking it down, still loving it. You know, I went to SummerSlam, which was great. That was a great experience. So, you know, it's just everything comes full circle. So, you know, that's us. We love wrestling. We are going to go ahead and do our best to kind of break things down and you know, try to make sense of everything, what we see in the news, you know, the biggest topics, our opinions about certain stuff and go from there. So I guess, you know, with that nice intro that we have, let's go into the biggest topic that's going on right now. We have, is it a work? Is it a shoot? Josh, I have no idea because this is what happens when the boy cries wolf, right?
I was literally about to say the same exact phrase. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, you go ahead and you do this and hey, listen, you got the good pop, you got the good storyline out of it now, but now you have everybody like, you know, we saw the move. We don't know what's going on. What are your thoughts about this, Josh? Do you think that Seth Rollins is actually hurt or is it another work?
I, at this point, will believe Seth Rollins is hurt when I see them air the footage that they warn is graphic of them doing the actual surgery on him down in Birmingham.
Right.
Because up to this point, all like as far as, you know, like rumors or insiders, things of that nature, some of it's going to be true, some of it's not, is he is on his way to Birmingham to be evaluated for potential surgery. And we've heard that before. And then we saw him around on crutches, just like how people were seeing him with a sling now, right, on his arm. So now I feel the knee one where he had the whole ruse, the story for it made sense. In this case, having like, you know, the immediate jump into change of having, you know, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn on him and then really kind of change the whole dynamic because now, is Seth Rollins now a babyface when he comes back, whenever that is? Because he's obviously still got the feud going with Punk. Becky's still hated. Right. He's still, you know, his thing with Cody is one of those that will never end. His thing with Roman obviously will never end. And Roman is currently the baby of the group, even though Roman has his heel actions.
Right.
It's those type of things where now this one feels like it was more caught off guard than the knee one, where that one, okay, you could have set it up because now you let Punk win the title for then Rollins to take it from him.
Right.
So what are your thoughts with it? Like, are you believing it? Do you believe, Barry? I need to know. Do you believe?
I think I do. I think I believe this one. I think just because of Seth Rollins' history, right? Like, he does have a very, very checkered injury history. And for whatever reason, I don't know what the hell got into him. Like, he thought that he was 19 years old again and he was in Ring of Honor. Like, why are you doing a coast to coast? You're 40 years old. We've seen you do everything in the ring. We know how good you are. We know how good both of you guys are in the ring. There's no need to do that spot. And when I saw it, I was like, yeah, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. Like, he fell awkwardly. And the one thing about shoulders, man, is like, me being an athlete, playing basketball my whole life, I know what that feels like, to like have a twinge and then something happens and then it's like, okay, that there's some uneasiness or some instability in that shoulder, and now you don't have that range of motion anymore, right? So I believe this one. I really do. And the reason why I believe it is just a few things. Like, he was in that big get up, and you can tell that there could have been a sling under there. You know what I mean? Just to be able to hide it. Obviously the last segment of the night, he didn't come out with anything because obviously they knew what they were going to do. But this I believe, just because there's no reason to kind of do this if there isn't like a change in course, because the plan was, I heard that according to like the reports, that they weren't going to break up the division until, maybe another 6 months from now, right? 7 months from now. But listen, this is what I'm saying right now. We could get swerved at Saturday night's main event and see what happens, right? But let's just play out the scenario that he is hurt, right?
Okay.
If he is hurt, what is the best course of action that you think, Josh? Is it to give Braun Breaker the belt right now? Because that's what it looks like to me, that you can be able to just put the belt on Braun Breaker, let Paul Heyman do his thing in regards to pushing him up as the next big thing again, have him beat CM Punk. CM Punk now becomes the chaser of the title that he's been chasing since he lost it, and now you have to figure different things out, right? Does that seem plausible to you? That if this is true, that Braun Breaker is going to get crowned the new champion at Saturday night's main event?
I really don't feel like they would crown a new champion at Saturday night's main event, because this coming Saturday night's main event is all about John Cena.
So you think
so
that
I definitely don't think they would crown a new champion on that, and because it's not that, this is an attempt to overshadow John's thing. It would be, no one's even going to remember about this, because the entire show is going to be about John Cena, and for that one. So I don't think it's going to be something that happens at Saturday night's main event. Now, the question is, how does it really play into War Games?
Right.
And then whatever the following pay-per-view is, or PLE, excuse me.
Yeah, after War Games, I think it's the Rumble.
Do they not have any PLE until the Rumble after War Games?
They cut out the December pay-per-view. So
okay.
Yeah.
So if that were to be the case, do you do some type of, tournament to crown a new champion at War Games? Do you somehow have the title be at stake in some version with the War Games match itself? Like the random thought that I had, because, like there were two thoughts with it. One is, there's going to be 8 or 10 guys in that match, but if they're doing 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, it's like, whoever's the one who gets the pin is the one that becomes champion then. But if that's the case, then your teammates are going to try to break up your own falls. So it's like, well, that logically doesn't make much sense. So then the only other thought that I had was, if they were to have the title be vacated and have it be at stake, what if they were to do something along the line of, okay, whichever team wins War Games, then the members of that team are then in fatal 4-way or 5-way or whatever it is at the Rumble for the title. So then your teammate, you have to coexist as a team for the shot at the title. which then can bring the dynamic with Jay, Punk, LA Knight, Roman, etc. And notice how I didn't mention Jimmy. I'll get to that in a second. Where then the other side, you would have Bronson, all the rumors talking about Austin Theory, Brock, and maybe one more, again, depending if they do 4 or 5 for it. Because then the dynamic also then falls into, well, if you got Bronson and Austin Theory, 3 young guys, well, then how are they going to coexist with Brock Lesnar because he's taking all the spotlight and stuff? Do you work and have a 4 with them where then you convert one of them into a face as that match goes? Do the other side where maybe someone then makes the heel turn in the midst of it. So I just have the random theory, if it was like a fantasy booking type world, that this would be the avenue for Jimmy Uso to win the title.
What?
I know it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's dumb.
Listen, we are booking our own shows here. Nothing's dumb. All right, we're gonna figure it out.
Oh, it's just like, okay, so you have your team. Let's say that team were to win the War Games and that 4 or 5. So in some group, you're gonna have Roman, Jay, Jimmy, LA Knight, and Punk. Right? Those are pretty much the 5. That's pretty much the 5 that would be fighting over the World Heavyweight title. So former champ, Jimmy. And we always see on TV how Jimmy seems to be the outsider one. He's the one that they'll vent to. He's the one that always helps. He's the one that's always loyal, but he's also the one that's never really won anything, of course, without Jay.
Right.
So this would be your fun little curveball for at least, a couple months to throw the fact of, hey, so something that Jimmy can hold over because not only did he win the title, but he beat his brother and cousin to win the title, which Jay can't say he did. So then you have that dynamic. Again, far-fetched thing. For all we know, Seth's not even going to drop the title.
Right.
And they're just going to have him hold on to it. And then you could still work, though, will Jimmy move up? Again, depending on how the War Games rosters come out. Or you can even go as far as Jimmy is the one left out of the War Games roster, which then helps elevate more. Why am I the one being left out? So your eyes slowly got wider by the second in what I was saying. So I want to pause to let you absorb and tell me how crazy I am.
You are nuts. if you think that Paul Levesque is gonna go ahead and put the belt on Jimmy of all people. Now listen, I would love it.
Hey, why did they put it on Jay?
Because Jay was over. I don't know if Jimmy is over like that to put the title on him. But listen, you never know, because at this point, I think where WWE is right now, if Seth Rollins is hurt, right, it now opens the universe up to different possibilities.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why your take is not so crazy, to be honest with you. It really isn't, because it's like, all right, are we going to get an infusion of young talent? Trick Williams, Obafemi, are we going to get, maybe my man Ricky Saint? Are you going to see some guys over the next few months come up? Because it might be time to have that young influx of talent come into WWE, because we've kind of had the same cast of characters just kind of be around, right? Like, Drew McIntyre is just out there being Drew McIntyre, and there's nothing happening with him. You got Punk in the title scene. Okay, cool. He's been battling Seth Rollins for the past few months. People are getting kind of tired of that, right? Like, Roman, Jimmy, Jay, the same cast of characters. It may be time to kind of see what else we have here. So I'm curious to see what happens. If it is true that he is hurt, I feel bad for him. Just because every time he's given the ball to be the guy. It's so crazy how like life works. And listen to Josh. His mentor or the person that he looks up to is Triple H.
Mm-hmm.
His career mirrors Triple H because Triple H was never the guy in his own era. There was always guys that were above Triple H. He was cool, right? But he was never the guy. And as good as Seth Rollins is, as much as they put championships on him, as much as they put the battery and the rocket ship to him, he never feels like the guy because Punk's better. You got Cody's better. Roman is still the face of the company. You know what I mean? Like you have these things, and it's just like, okay, you're fourth in line.
I want to cut you off to just ask a question now.
Yeah.
What is your definition of better?
Better.
Because you said this guy's better, this guy's better, this guy's better.
Yeah. What I
do you mean by that?
What I mean by better is that how when you get the ball, how things react, right? Like how the company moves with you having the championship or you being the guy. Like, are you a needle mover? Are you selling tickets? Are you advancing the stories? Are you becoming more over because you are the guy now? Or is it just one of those things that like, okay, yeah, we like you, you're good, but who's that shiny toy in the back over there? Like, it's always like, and that's how it felt with Triple H to me. It was as good as he was never on Stone Cold's level. He was never on The Rock's level. He was never on The Undertaker's level. He was never on Shawn Michaels' level. He was never on all of these guys that he had to deal with. And that's what I'm talking about, is that as good as he is, he's always overlooked for somebody else, no matter what he does, no matter how good he is, because this right now, I think his run right now may be the best of his career just because, that character kind of took time for him to be able to like get into it and really like, morph it. Now he's in a groove and people have accepted it, but I think people were kind of getting bored with the vision. They were getting bored with what he was doing. And that's the whole point, is that Roman has this. Roman goes for 4 years. Yeah, it got a little stale towards the end, but man, did he carry that thing. Man, was that storyline good enough to be able to keep people locked in from week in and week out. This right here kind of felt like, okay, you got these two big monsters. You're the guy. You have Heyman, but we know that this is not going to last. Like, this is not Evolution where we feel like you're triple. You just don't. He just doesn't have that type of leadership in a group type of personality. It just doesn't hit for me. And I speak to a lot of people that love Seth Rollins, and they say the same thing. So it's like, we love him, but we don't love him like that. You know what I mean? And that's where he kind of gets lost in the sauce with everybody else.
So my big thing from what you were saying, and you definitely have, some very valid points in what you were talking about with it. My big thing, again, goes back to that word better.
Yeah.
Because then when you described it and when you went back, oh yeah, well, there was Triple H, but then you had The Rock and Austin, et cetera, et cetera. The way that I interpret your description was all these people were more marketable, which is what made it better. And that's obviously a huge factor. There's no doubt about that, because you want to sell the tickets and the merch, etc.
In ring, I don't think that a lot can touch Seth Rollins in ring, but there's a lot more to be a superstar than just being in ring. You know what I mean?
And you're 100% right with that, because to your point, when you look out in the audience at T-shirts, you don't see a lot of Seth Rollins T-shirts, which is ironic since he has the craziest fashion in the WWE. So that's just a little interesting in that regard.
The Liberace of WWE.
However, the other side to look at it on where Seth Rollins, in my opinion, really does elevate above some of the people you listed, and to Triple H's credit, elevate above some of the people, not saying all of them, but some of the people that you listed, is the storytelling in ring. I'm not just talking about, oh, he can do more moves than others. Like, moves is one thing, whatever, but it's also how you do them. Cena, for many years, they call him with the 5 moves of doom, but you know what? You still tuned in every single time, and everyone bought the t-shirts for reasons.
Absolutely.
But as far as telling the stories during, beginning, after, and I don't just mean promos, I mean the facials, the eyes, the movement, the situation with the watch, at Crown Jewel, like that had good stuff, where some of the wrestlers you listed would not be able to make that work the way that Seth did. So along with that, he has, over the years, done a good job in working with future talent.
That's true.
He did it with Bray. He did it with Finn. Obviously, when he started with the Shield, and then him, Roman, and Ambrose, did their things. He had Austin Theory. He had Buddy Murphy at the time, Buddy Matthews. Now Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. He helps make them a name, and people are like, oh, here he comes. Now, to some of those guys I listed credit, and to some of their detriment, once that story ended with Seth, some stayed and grew, and some faded away. That goes on them. But the fact that Seth was able to elevate them to that level at that point, because some of the guys that you listed, they don't necessarily even really wrestle and work with a lot of those young guys, because they know that this guy will entertain, put on a good story, but he will just be able to put on the story with this guy. He can work with talent at his level, but he cannot elevate others, while Seth Rollins can. So that's my argument, where you say, oh, okay, this guy's better, this guy's better, this guy's better, this guy's better. My definition of better, Seth was better than most of those guys you listed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a difference between being the face of a company and being the engine that runs the company, right? Like, Seth Rollins is the guy he's the company man. He's the official company.
He's the engine.
He's the engine, right? Like, he's the one that, if it wasn't for Cody, when Cody came in, if it wasn't for Seth, we wouldn't know how good Cody's run would have been, because those 3 matches set the table for Cody's run to the title. You know what I mean? Like, without Seth Rollins, I don't know if Cody gets there, because the story wasn't there for anybody else. It just seemed like it was just there, destined for it, right? And then he tear, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I definitely give him credit. That's why I never want to like downplay what he is. Like, Triple H is one of the greatest of all time, and Seth Rollins is going to go down as one of the greatest too. But when you look at it, right, when you put those names on a paper and you go ahead and you have those discussions between CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, right? And because Randy Orton is still playing, he's still in the game. A lot of people are not going to mention Seth before a lot of those names for whatever reason, right? Like, whatever reason
the reason is the marketing.
The marketing, right? And
that's the reason. The reason is the marketing.
It's like any type of industry, right? Music. Like, you got the guys that are really great artists, right? And then you got the stratosphere people. They're always going to mention the stratosphere people over the people that really made really compelling music, had great albums, probably didn't really sell as many records as this particular person, but they are more cultured than a lot of those mega stars out there, right? So
and here, let me throw like a random question out at you, which will like further that example that you just said. So like randomly tell me, like, and I can tell you a few of mine as far as like, let's just say like favorite rappers, just as an example. So like I the ones that immediately come to my mind are guys like Eminem, Outkast, Jay-Z, etc. Like, do you have a few others that you want to add on in there?
Yeah, you got Jadakiss, you got
sure.
Big, you have Big L, you have Mace. There's a couple
okay.
guys,
so right here, you kind of proved a point that I'm doing here, which is further putting the exclamation point on what you were saying, because you mentioned Jadakiss and Big L, and you go to a common rap music fan, a common hip hop fan, they're going to list the guys who are the most marketable. 100%. Jadakiss was not the most marketable.
No.
But a lot of rappers and people who are deep inside will say Jadakiss is one of the best. And probably the most common one that I'll hear, like how many rappers will say was a big influence on them, KRS-One.
Facts.
How many people are like as far as casual music fans mention KRS-One?
Not many.
Sadly, they don't. And they should. And you could make base with your argument, and it makes valid sense. Seth Rollins is turning into the KRS-One of this generation.
100%. I agree. That's why it's like, he gets the flowers, because for real wrestling fans that understand the dynamics of how things work, I don't know where WWE is without a Seth Rollins. Like, if you remove Seth Rollins from this era, there's a lot of things that don't happen, right? There's a lot of moments that do not happen. So he deserves his credit. It's just that, again, he's never going to be mentioned in those particular names. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. Everybody can't be LeBron. Everybody can't have the last shot. Some guys are just guys who are just there for 15 years, consistent, and has the respect of everybody, right? So moving on, I think the what are you gonna make of the WWE championship picture? Because we understand the world title picture, we have some names out there, right?
Yeah.
There's LA Knight, there's Braun Breaker, there's CM Punk, but the other side of it feels a lot different. It's very dry on that side. And I don't know where they go from here. I don't even have a name to give you, Josh, to be able to say, yep, that's the guy that can be able to go ahead and push and see if they can be able to have him, in the main event picture with Cody. Because, I don't know if you heard this rumor, but Cody and Drew went to management and they wanted Drew to go over. And management nixed the deal because Cody, he's doing the movie and all that stuff. So if it's not Drew, then who is it?
My short answer for that would be Sammy. That's the short answer. Just thinking with the current roster.
Yeah.
With the current SmackDown roster on how it is. Because one thing that John Cena was incredibly successful at was when he did his U.S. title open challenge, and so many matches were so good and elevated, not just the people that he wrestled, but then was reminding people that John Cena belongs in the heavyweight title picture.
Right.
Sami Zayn every week is having the best match on SmackDown.
He really is.
With whoever he's wrestling. And from that, there will be a point where he does lose the title. And hopefully he loses it to someone like NXT talent like you're talking about, future, like an Obafemi, Ricky Saints, one of them, someone along those lines. But that is elevating him, showing He can go toe to toe and wrestle with anyone and beat anybody. And that's obviously been the moment that's eluded him is winning the big title. And he wants that. And I see, you got, someone watch Khalil had to question me and laughing at the thought of Sammy. It's a matter of,
it's
again,
not
building the story. Because you can rewind to Jeff Hardy.
Right.
Sami Zayn is doing almost an identical Jeff Hardy story.
That's fair.
Just with a few less ladders. Still has some ladders, but a few less. So he's definitely someone that the fans would 100% get behind. Everyone was convinced, including myself, that Sammy was going to be the one to dethrone Roman. Because it seemed like I believe there was a point for a while where it's like, okay, well, it's gonna be this person or that person, probably Cody. But then when they made that turn with Sammy, it's just like, no, it's gonna be Sammy. And maybe even it's for something quick. And then Roman wins it right back. But it's like, no, this might be it. And it's just a matter of how you make it make sense. It really is, because there is a way to make this make sense.
Now, here's my question to you. I think the only path that it makes sense is that you gotta turn Sammy heel.
I don't think so,
because I don't think that Cody's going Homelander. I just don't. I don't see that happening.
I'm not saying Cody turns heel either.
So so face
right, because it will be the type of scenario where the crowd will 1000% get behind Sammy in this, and there will be match, and in the match itself, Cody will probably get booed, just like he got booed in his WrestleMania match with John Cena.
Yeah,
but Cody is incredible. We were talking like marketing and how you convey yourself earlier. Cody is in rarefied air when it comes to, even if I'm the one getting booed in the match, I'm still winning your respect over, and I'm going to do what I can, and I'm still going to shake this guy's hand. I'm going to get my rematch because I want that belt back. However, I am still proud of you, and you did it.
He's got that Cena in him. He does.
100%. He's got that Cena in him. And again, and SmackDown, I do really hope in 2026, SmackDown becomes the SmackDown of old, which was really like the future wrestlers, where you're having more than matches. So again, Obafemi, Carmelo Hayes, Ricky Saints. I personally would love Grayson Waller to get away from New Day and just have a singles run on SmackDown personally.
I think Ilya's coming back too.
Ilya would be another great one.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, you could move Gunther to SmackDown, and then you would have that dynamic too when he comes back. And obviously, he is, I'm not going to say he's young, because he's not young, but he's younger than others, and hasn't been on the mainstream as long. However, has been billed as, hey, he's an unbeatable force type guy. So then these guys can try to chase him too. And it would also make great sense where, hey, Sammy wins the title, whether he wins the Rumble and it works into that and he gets the Mania moment, and then Gunther dethrones Sammy to get revenge from him taking the IC title. There are things that all make sense, Barry. But again, it makes sense if they put it in action.
Right.
Because we've seen plenty of times where it's absolute masterpieces, and there have been absolute like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a fine line, because obviously for your first title win, you only have your first title win once.
Right.
And after all these years building it up, you don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, it has to be special, man. I don't disagree. I just, like, for me, I have to see the road. I got to see where they're going with it.
I felt like I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. That's what that just felt like.
Like, I wouldn't be mad if you won it, but it was just like, it needs to make sense for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be like just a regular generic storyline. Like, it has to be something that I wasn't expecting. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm looking at Sammy a little differently, because I never looked at Sammy as a world champion. I always believed that he was just a high mid-card guy that can be able to carry the company and be the good hand, right? And that's exactly what he's doing.
Before Jeff Hardy won the title, did you ever see him as world champion?
I did.
Okay, see, I never did.
Yeah, I did.
I saw him tag team. Okay, give him some mid-card runs, fine. But I never saw him as someone that would have been. And then they did it, and like, oh, I'm wrong, because he can be that guy.
Yeah, the crazy enough is that when those tag teams were coming up, and Jeff started getting the higher pops, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I can see him being champion. The same thing I saw with Edge and Christian. Everybody's like, we know that Edge is gonna have his time in the sun, right? We know that he's gonna go single. But I used to tell people, like, I think Christian, given the chance, I think he could be able to be a really good heel champion if they give him a shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get the shot in WWE at first. He had to go to TNA to get it, and we saw exactly how great he was there. And then he came back. So it's one of those things where it's just like, you can see certain pockets of like potential with guys. I never really saw it with Sammy outside of, again, him just being a high mid-card guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So something has to change for that to change in my head, for me to be able to like flip that switch and say, okay, you know what? Sammy can be able to carry this weight. Sammy can be able to be the guy and be the heavyweight champion. So, you know, I'm not opposed to it. I just got to see where they take it. Because for me, what I think is going to happen, you know, the fact that I think Braun Breaker is going to win the championship, I think CM Punk wins the Rumble and goes to SmackDown, and we get Cody and Punk at WrestleMania. And that's what I want to see. That's the match that we haven't gotten yet, and that's what I want. That's what I want.
As much as I love that idea, and I'm 100% down for that, and for them to have the match, and that would be a fantastic WrestleMania match. Where are we building new champions?
That's the thing, is that we don't want it's the regular guys, right? You don't want to keep putting the belt on old guys. You want to start building new stars. And that's what it goes back to what you were saying, is that SmackDown needs to be the bed where you go ahead and introduce these new stars. And they got to be able to get their pushes, and they got to get their light. Listen, Fatu is still on SmackDown, right? Like, who's to say that he's not the guy to be able to get the rocket strapped to him? Because I think that they tried, but I think that they kind of fumbled it the way they did it, and I really didn't understand why they did it so quickly. For him to feud with Solo was just the wrong thing to do anyway. I just think that they kind of could have spread that out a little bit more, or kind of let it finish off a better way. But now it's like he's in this situation where he's going to come back soon, or what? Is he back yet?
He is, and he did eye Cody backstage.
Right.
Like they had a little interaction backstage where he was just like, after Crown Jewel, I'm coming for you.
Good.
But it then led, because he's been starting like I don't know if it's just a mini feud with Drew. The two of them been fighting, and I believe they're wrestling this coming SmackDown, which could result in number one contender. Where then is it going to be Drew again? Because I love Drew. I love everything about Drew, except that people now cannot take him seriously because he always loses the big match.
He's losing, and it gets to the point where like you're gonna end up ruining what he's built over the last year and a half, right? Like this believable jerk character that just feels so real, and you buy into everything that he's doing because he's kind of become the maestro of being able to build these storylines and build this emotion from whatever it is, right? So at some point, they have to cash in on this. Like, you can't just allow him to just like blow in the weeds and just have him be enhancement talent and just get over everybody. Like, he's not an old guy where you need to be doing that with him. You can put the title on Drew for a very long time and still be a functioning company and be just fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm curious to see where they go. So I guess with, Drew, Jacob, Sammy, is there anybody else, dark horse, that's on the roster right now that you can say, given the opportunity, not saying that he's going to necessarily win the championship, but just be flipped into the main event picture? Do you see anybody on SmackDown that has that potential?
Well, there's one that I want. I believe he is still, I think, technically on Raw for right now. So pending that he does move over.
Right.
He does have a little bit of a story / legacy he has to finish first when he comes back. But the guy I'm talking about is Chad Gable.
I knew you was going to say
Chad is so
good.
Special. And he from the formation of the tag team with Otis, something really finally clicked in Gable.
Yeah.
You know, it had the wrestling. There's no question with that stuff. But then getting taken more seriously as a heel on the microphone, in the stories, and the fact that he still has not had a singles title blows my mind. And I just want to make sure that he's, not overshadowed by the tremendous luchador known as El Grande Americano. And who, by the way, I don't know if you know this, El Grande Americano has been wrestling for about 275 years. He has the legacy built in.
There's a long lineage of history there. Yeah.
Right. So I'm so sick of them trying to compare Chad Gable to this being that does not even seem like he belongs on Earth, like El Grande Americano. Right. And so if they decided to move Chad Gable to SmackDown once he's healthy, he is a guy that I feel could be a dark horse type guy to throw into the mix of those things. And he can get the reaction from the crowd needed for it. He can get the storyline over for it with the mic work. And obviously we know he could wrestle with the best of them because you can make an argument he's probably one of the 5 best wrestlers on the main roster, like physical wrestlers. So
planet.
Oh yeah. So he's definitely the first one that popped into my head.
Yeah.
I mean, another one that I think should hopefully now get a little more attention moving up the ranks will be Aleister Black.
Oh, he's so good.
And another guy who is fantastic, who has that aura about him.
Yeah.
And now they've paired Zelina with him.
She got the look, man. Like, she got that Spindell look. Good.
In my opinion, the worst thing that ever happened with Zelina was they took her away from Andrade.
Yes.
Because she can wrestle, no doubt about it. But then when you took the microphone away from her in being the heel, a lot of that went away.
Yeah.
And now you have an opportunity with what Aleister Black brings, and then you bring a variation of Zelina. And obviously, since they are legit husband and wife, they'll obviously have a natural connection anyway.
Right.
He's a guy, and hey, he's done a lot of work with Cody, and Aleister has beaten Cody.
Right.
So that's one they can certainly transition into if they chose to.
And also too, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to bring some semblance of the House of Black to SmackDown, just because he has Zelina Vega there. I can see him adding to some type of stable for himself to be able to start pushing him a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
okay. So for fun, give me one NXT guy that you would put with Aleister Black. That would make sense with Aleister Black. That's based on what their character persona is right now in NXT. What would make sense with Aleister Black?
Oh my God. I can't think of one. They would have to literally.
This I feel is compliment to Aleister Black, because there is no one on any show
that has
that is remotely like him or can resemble him or can be his minion or his assistant or body or whatever. Like he, to me, is someone that truly stands alone as that figure. But now, like, you have Zelina by his side. That's the dynamic that can work. You put him with other wrestlers. I mean, House of Black in AEW, to me, that was just like, okay, it makes no sense for anyone to beat this team ever.
Right.
And when you have that, it's a problem. And it's a problem because then things don't become believable.
Correct.
Yeah. And I will tell you, because I got this story. It was more like in hearsay, but years ago, late great Shad Gaspard, he told me how he previously had conversations with guys in the Nation of Domination. And he's like, you know what they told me on why they broke up? I'm like, why? He's like, because no one believed that anyone could beat any of them in a fight.
Right.
So they had to separate them. And I really felt with like House of Black, like, hey, this is just kind of like a modern version of that. And it's just like, these guys should never lose a match. And then when they do lose a match, because that's the thing, people have to lose matches.
Right.
It's part of it. You can't be indestructible forever.
Right.
So that's where it's just like, now I'm not feeling it as much, because just like,
it's kind of, it loses its luster. I mean,
exactly.
I don't disagree with you. I think that the best thing for them to do, if they're not gonna, create the House of Black here and just leave them as a duo, just make Zelina Vega be as maniacal as possible. Because when she's a heel, when she can be able to express herself on the mic, she is gold. She's gold.
1000%. Yes, absolutely.
So, and Aleister Black, as good as he is, he's not really a great micster. You know what I mean? Like, he does decent promos, but if you can be able to have a Zelina Vega be the mic while he's the guy in the back, and they can be able to put this production together, I can literally see what they're doing, and it's so messed up, Josh. But I know what they're doing is that they're literally taking my man, what's his name that left? With Scarlett.
Karrion Kross. Or Killer Kross now.
Yeah, Killer Kross. They're taking that, spinning it in a different type of packaging, but it's pretty much the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, we wanted Scarlett to be what Zelina Vega could be, because she was very good at those things. And so I can see that happening, that they didn't want to do it with Karrion. They love Aleister. They'll push him more than they will push Karrion Kross. So,
I mean, possibly. And yeah, that's a guy that definitely does have some similarities to Aleister for sure. So at the same time, it's like, oh, well, what if you put those two together? Again, it's just like, why would you believe anyone could beat those two guys together?
Right.
And
I'm not even
they're going to have to lose.
Hey, yeah, not even put them in a team, but just like the fact that their paths are very similar in their characters.
Sure.
Triple H, okay, well, we got rid of Karrion. Now we could be able to do what we wanted to do Alistair now. With you know what I mean? So it's interesting to see. But yeah, I can see Alistair Black getting that push, and I would love it. I would love it, man, because I think this second run for Cody, I feel bad for him just because it's just like, okay, he beat Cena at SummerSlam. Now what? Right? Like there was nothing else there for him. And that's kind of the downside of having such a great story being told where you're chasing the championship. People will want to see you get the title. And then it's kind of like when the Boston Red Sox won that World Series after so many years. They're just like, what do we do? what do we do?
It's like, oh, you won again. Oh,
right.
Okay, cool.
So now it's like Cody's in this really, really weird place that it's like, okay, I love him being champion. He's a great champion, but I think I'm ready to see it. I need to see another chase. I don't. This needs to end at some point, and I would love to. I would love for it to end sooner than WrestleMania. But if WrestleMania is going to be when he loses it, then whatever it is, and then we can be able to start building some stars to WrestleMania, and then make sure that we give them the rocket after WrestleMania. So that's what I want to see. Moving on to the last thing we were going to discuss, John Cena's last match in the ticket sales. Josh, like I've seen prices out the roof for this thing. Like I'm concerned. Who is going to want to go to these matches? This last match and spend thousands of dollars to see John Cena?
Well, for this last one, apparently even more people than they were expecting. Because all of a sudden, this has turned into one where they should have considered maybe a stadium. Because the pre-sale ticket sales alone have almost completely sold the place out.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting because, the prices are stupid right now for all these PLEs.
Yeah.
And your WrestleMania, your War Games, etc. So all of a sudden, this Saturday night's main event, it was just like, okay, well, we're going to do this. And it's definitely going to be a high ticket item because it is John Cena's final match. So that makes sense. And then money's no object in this arena for it. So it's interesting because when you look at that dynamic, an arena, so, like that holds an NBA team. When a WWE show is in that NBA arena, your attendance is anywhere from like, if it's sold out, like 13 to 17,000, give or take, depending on how their seatings are set up and their stage setup.
Yep.
So when then you look at WrestleMania, where they seat 70 to 80,000, well, guess what? 13 to 17,000 of them, money's probably not an issue.
Right.
That's why we hear about all the issues on people saying it's too expensive, because they're filling up such a large space. If they had fewer PLEs in the stadiums, we wouldn't hear it as much. Now, why would they do that? Because they're making so much goddamn more money in that. So, of course, they're going to put them into bigger stadiums. I get that. But it's just unique to see with all the talk about how expensive, too much money, this and that. Here's a show that's in an arena where the Washington Wizards play. That's where the show's taking place. Doesn't seem to be any issue in selling tickets.
Right. Within minutes gone.
Yeah.
Right. It's do you think that I obviously I think I know the answer to this, but has there ever been a time where they sell this thing out in minutes and then they say to themselves, holy crap, do we kind of try to change venues and maybe see if we can get has that ever happened in any type of situation, whether it be entertainment, rest? Has that ever happened where they change venues just because of the demand?
It did happen like a couple years ago for WWE. They scheduled Money in the Bank at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas.
Right.
And could not sell nearly as many tickets for it. And then it moved to their MGM arena in Vegas instead.
Got it.
I'm sure it's much more difficult, especially during football season,
right,
to go from an arena to the stadium to set things up. Now, the extent of what they can do, which we've seen them do, is shrink the stage or the pyro platform so they can squeeze in as many seats as physically possible.
Right.
And with that, like, I would not expect a huge entry. It's probably going to be a very narrow walkway to the ring. And I would not expect a large stage either because they're selling so many tickets for this particular show.
Right. Plus it is a Saturday night's main event, so they normally have a very smaller presentation for the stuff anyway, right?
Well, they definitely normally have the smaller entry because I always found it interesting once they started doing these again last year. Once the wrestlers reached a certain point into the entryway, you immediately saw security right behind them.
Right.
Like they walked to follow them through a chunk of that.
Yeah.
First off, I love that.
It is.
It's just the wrestlers.
Nostalgia.
And since it's such and since you made it so narrow, it was very good thinking on their part to do that as a safety net, just in case a fan was stupid. Because we've seen plenty of times where fans be stupid.
Oh yeah.
So I think is going to be a given. The stage itself in the entry, that's what I'm going to be curious about on how small it's going to end up being for this particular show because they're trying to fit as many people in as possible for John Cena's final match and send off. And I'll say it now, and I'm sure I'll say it multiple times between now and his final match. And somewhere in his last promo, most likely towards the end, he's going to say, "My time is up. Their time is now."
He might just say it that night. I'm saying,
right. That's what I'm saying that night.
Yeah.
You know, like he's going to have his Mamba out moment and drop the mic after the match.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something along the lines of, "My time is up. Their time is now."
I mean, obviously, we'll have some talks, you know,
of course,
as it goes, as it approaches. But who do you think is going to be?
The obvious choice is Gunther, pending that everything is A-okay from the doctors from like his surgery that he had, and I think that makes sense. Especially then, if you were to then switch him over to SmackDown to immediately throw him back in the title picture.
Right.
Of course, everyone's dreaming for it to be Edge. And, that
would be amazing.
Well, hold on. It would be an amazing moment.
Not a match. Right. Not a
match. I mean, I'm not discounting either of them on putting the match on. The two of them together, I'm questioning at this stage in both of their careers.
If they can be able to.
If they can live up to that type of hype for that match. The moment would be incredible. I mean, if I'm looking at guys on the roster right now, I would love Miz to come out only for then the lights to go out and he's laid out and then someone else comes out.
That might just happen.
Because that would be the ultimate. He is the last guy. Why? Even though the story makes so much sense for it to be the last guy. But everyone would just be so angry. And that would be like the last great like troll move that they could do for a John Cena match. And then the lights go out and appears and it's whoever, whether it's Gunther, Obafemi, or like, if they wanted to put an NXT guy in that spot, the only one that makes sense is Obafemi.
Yes.
I mean, I would love, we were talking about guys to move the SmackDown. I can't believe I totally forgot about Ethan Page because he should also be an absolute
so good
guy there. But I mean, off the top of my head, the only two that make the most sense are Gunther, Obafemi. And then, you could try to throw a dark horse in like Braun Breaker. Because with Braun Breaker, he was the one who held the title. And we go all the way back to what we talked about at the beginning of this episode. He was the one that held the title over Seth Rollins on Raw. Yet Bronson Reed was the guy who beat Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't Bronson Reed be the one wanting to hold the title? Since he's one of two guys in the last 5-6 years or whatever to beat Roman in a singles match.
Right.
So that type of match would also give Braun Breaker that last elevated push to be like, no, I'm now the man here.
Yeah. I'm the guy.
I think I'm convincing myself more and more as I say that to put Braun Breaker above Obafemi in my argument.
Yeah.
Between Gunther and Braun.
I'm with you. I'm with you. You have sold me on the Braun Breaker part of it.
My work here is done.
I want to see it now because I think it makes a lot more sense based on where this story can go with where they're trying to push Braun to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that would make a lot of sense for him to be the guy to beat Cena. And then now the rocket is strapped to his back, and now he's this unstoppable force heading into the Rumble, heading onto the road to WrestleMania and beyond. So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right, Josh, this was good, man. A good first episode. Like I said, we don't have a name, but
what if we throw that out to the wonderful listeners here?
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
I want some comments on ideas for a name for this show.
Yeah.
I would say the only guidelines, don't put too many wrestling puns in it.
Nope. Yeah, I
can't. Make sure the name isn't already taken.
Right. We don't want to get sued or cursed out or beat up.
Yeah. Also, make sure whatever the title is something that you could say anywhere without people giving you a side eye.
Facts.
I think that those are the only requirements I have. I don't know if you got anything.
Yeah, I think you hit everything out there, man. I'm good. I like the corny stuff sometimes, but it gotta hit me in the moment. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We'll see, because sometimes the corny shit can really get people to be like, oh, let me go ahead and click that. What the hell is this? You know what I mean? But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
And likewise, if there are over the course of the week, certain topics you want to hear us talk about, you got questions for either of us, want any other, stories or things as far as working wrestling shows that hopefully I'm able to answer. I have a lot of those answers. Don't have all of them, but I have some. So, we want to make this a fun, just laid back chat, talking about what we love with wrestling, and however we get you viewers, listeners, all you wonderful people who are watching us and subscribe to the channel. Make sure, obviously, you share and do all that stuff. I'm sure Barry's going to do that promotion much better than what I just did. But let's make this grow. I'm excited for this. I'm excited chatting with you, Barry. This was fun first episode, and I'm ready for more. Tag me in. Hot tag. Give me that. Hot tag is already the name of a podcast. Don't leave a comment for it.
Listen, man, we'll do the hot tags like the Dudleys and the Hardys did at Bound for Glory, man.
There you go.
That match was really good. It was really good. Bunch of old guys going through tables. Love it. If that's the way you're gonna retire and go out, why not go through a couple of tables and make it fun?
Well, if those two teams were having, hey, this is our last match, and at least one of the teams was retiring after it, you think they would just do, oh, let's just have a regular, good old-fashioned grappling match? Of course not.
No. That'd be me. If I was a wrestler and to be on last match, I'm like, what is the best match that I can have? Hardcore match. Let's hardcore match, tables, thumbtacks. Let's do the whole thing.
And see, I still have the dream that one day I will watch a match where it is lock up, standing side headlock, tap out. I want that so badly, because it would just be like you want an ultimate troll job on the fans. Like, oh, they're getting this match. Wait, how did that? Why would just happen? He tapped out to a headlock.
Listen, or we could really piss off the fans and just give them the new version of the finger poke of doom. We could do that.
Are you and I going to do a finger poke of doom? Is that what's happening?
Possibly.
Who's going over? Wait, who's going over though?
You can go over. It's fine.
Okay, then let's do it. It's fine.
Josh, my man, I appreciate you, man. Until next week, whatever topics is out there, we'll definitely hit those. We'll go ahead and go over the biggest topics in the wrestling stratosphere, the IWC. We'll see exactly what's going on. So, till next week, peace.